Hello and welcome to another episode of the Business of Business podcast. This is Roy, your host. Of course, we are the podcast that brings you a wide variety of guests on a whole diverse set of topics. This is our mini series that we've been doing. This is actually going to be our fourth and final one on Google Ads. I'm lucky enough to Bobby with Signa Marketing is back with us again. Bobby, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, Roy. How are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. You know what? These little short segments have been great. I mean, you've been giving the audience a lot of actionable items, to try to put into practice every week without overloading everybody and just walking them through. So I appreciate you taking time out of your day to, help us out with this. We look forward to doing some other different ones. Speaking of which, if you're a listener, you have some topics that, on marketing, advertising, things like that, reach out. Be glad to try to put together a series to help you out. But anyway, so today we're going to go to the fourth subject that we want to talk about, and that is how to enable and of course how to maintain our Google ads that we've put up.
No, this is great. Yeah, so this is definitely a topic where I have a lot of fun with, to be honest, just because it can get kind of granular, but what we're going to discuss here today is more the approach. Because if I could teach the approach, then any type of scenario you'll be good for it.
Okay. Okay, great.
So with the context that you've done your keyword research, you've built your campaign from mapping it out, and now you're about to enable it and click that button just to enable that campaign. Now, when you enable it, previous to that, you're going to want to set up obviously your budget. This would have been determined from doing your forecasting and your keyword research. But say in this case, you have a $500 a month budget. You can set this budget as a reoccurring monthly budget, or sometimes because of the fact that Google doesn't actually honor daily budgets, they honor 30-day windows of budgets.
Right.
Sometimes you can have a campaign that overspends one day and then underspends the next day, just depending on search volume.
Okay.
So what we do is we utilize daily budgets. We set that campaign to a daily budget, and we just do the simple math of 500 divided by 28 days in this month, and we say, okay, this is the daily budget. Now, the way we maintain these campaigns is that we actually are inside an account at least 3 times a week.
Okay.
And the reason why is because we definitely want to stay away from the whole set it, forget it campaign type of thing where you build everything and then you're like, okay, I'll see it in 2 weeks type of deal. I mean, for us, I mean, it's money on the table. So that's why we like to be in there every other day, making sure that it's being invested in the right way possible. So some of the main things that you want to make sure that you're doing after you launch is, say you let 2 days, you launch on a Monday, you'll go back on a Wednesday, and you want to see how much, did it acquire impressions? Did it spend? If it did spend, how much? And the system will tell you really quickly if your campaign is limited by budget. So this will occur basically if you reached your budget for the day and there's still more opportunity of people Googling the same keywords, which essentially is like missed opportunity. Now, yeah, Google will say, this is increase your budget, this is missed opportunity, but a lot of people will be saying, well, I don't have more budget, it's 500 for the month deal. So what you can do is you want to go click into your campaign and sort by cost. You're going to sort those ad groups by cost, and you'll identify which ad group is actually spending the most.
Okay.
That ad group right there, you can actually decrease the bid. Because if you start to decrease the bids on ad groups that are hogging all your budget, then what that allows you to do is start to attain more traffic without spending more, without having to increase your budget. And that really is kind of like the magic there, because of the fact that it does take time to go in there and do that. But the thing is that you can squeeze out a lot more opportunity from your budget if you weren't doing that. What we do see as a mistake a lot of times is seeing that a campaign is limited by budget and they have not been decreasing bids. And so that's really just lost opportunity in terms of traffic by having to overpay for that traffic. So we're definitely very fond of going in there, reducing bids where we can. Another thing that we like to do to get a little bit more granular is when you are reviewing your ad groups sorted by cost, there's a button that allows you to segment. And when you segment, you can segment by device. So when you do that, you'll see how much spend was actually spent on desktop compared to mobile. And over the course of time, say you keep going into your campaigns every other day for a couple of weeks, you'll see, say you start getting conversions, you'll see that maybe mobile is responsible for all the conversions so far and not desktop. And so that's where you can start to make optimization bids down to a device level and adjust that and say, hey, you know what? I want to be bidding a little bit more aggressive on mobile compared to desktop, or hey, you know what? I want to pull back on desktop because it's not converting as much as mobile.
Right.
So that's where there's a lot of opportunity.
Okay. Yeah, and that's important too because speaking from experience, we talked in pre-show about this, is that I had an ad that, my budget and my time length got kind of messed up to where, for like 2 days, I didn't have any traffic or any, there was no, this was a YouTube, so there were no,
views and activity.
Yeah. There's basically, they weren't being populated. So anyway, I was able to get that worked out. But yeah, it's always good because while it's pretty good about running on its own for the most part, things do come up that you just need to be sure and catch. And then, like you said, to be sure and optimize, optimize it based on the results that you're getting.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. Exactly. And so, and these are kind of tactics to again, basically get the most bang for your buck. Right. I mean, every dollar counts, especially in these times, every dollar counts. Right. And so that's why, this approach will yield basically the most traffic without having to increase your ad budget.
Yeah.
And so the same is with video and display too, is if there's opportunity to decrease and your campaign's limited by budget, absolutely take advantage of decreasing your bids.
Yeah, and my experience with Google is very limited, so help me out with this. But I know on some of the skip ad campaigns that I run, what I was told is, like maybe one is not doing as good as another. So what I will do is, the tendency is to go in and just get rid of that ad, but there's actually a button there that you can just deactivate where it actually leaves the video clip and everything up there just in case you decide to go back and re-add it. You don't have to redevelop it. So my advice, and it doesn't take up any more space, but just deactivate instead of remove, and it may help you out in the future.
Oh, Roy, yeah, no, that is a great piece of advice there, because how many times have we seen that they just deleted the whole thing? Right. And you'll still have all the data there, but you still you can't flip it on how you could before. So right. Pausing ads is definitely something we highly recommend, but that's an excellent point.
Yeah. All right. Anything else we want to talk about on the maintenance end before we go?
Yeah, so in terms of we dove into segmenting, which there's a ton of opportunity there that we always find. Yeah. And this approach, I would say a lot of people sometimes may say, oh, well, if I decrease my bids, I'm going to lose traffic or I'm not going to attain it anymore. And what I tell them is, okay, most likely that won't happen as long as your click-through rate remains the same or it gets even higher. Right. And so that's why running really good ad copy goes a long way, because say on the Google Search Network, there's top 4 positions on desktop. And if you are reducing your bid to where you're landing on position 3 or 4, you're paying way lower for a click. Yeah. And you're still at the top. Right. And if you have very persuasive ad copy where you're beating the position number 1 anyways in terms of clicks, then you're golden, because you're being able to attain that traffic at a much lower cost and being able to get way more for within the same budget.
Yeah. Well, it sounds counterintuitive, but you'd said if you got one that's eaten up into your budget, you could back it down. But I think what I took away from that is it can spread that out, because some of the other positions that we really weren't getting a lot of traffic on, if we can increase that traffic, we may have higher click-through rates. So, I mean, at some point, we still would go back and evaluate with that click-through rates. But if we have little to no activity there, we don't know anyway. So it's a good experiment to run.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's where I see a lot of opportunity when we first, do an account review or anything like that. Yeah, those are some of the low hanging fruit adjustments that we start to complete right off the bat when we take over an account.
Right.
And yeah, I mean you'll see basically the cost just stay the same, and just the traffic goes like this.
Right.
Just,
Exactly. All right. Well, that's great. Well, Bobby, we appreciate you taking time to put this series together. This was the Google Ad series, and if this is the fourth episode. So go back and give those others a listen. What we do and I think we will talk about doing another one in marketing and see if we can talk Bobby into coming back and helping us out. But we think that this will break everything down into more bite-sized pieces that you can implement, over the next week. So. If you're too busy, if it's something you just can't figure out, Bobby and his team are, there and willing to help. So, Bobby, how can they reach out and get some help from you at Signa Marketing?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so everyone can find us at signamarketing.com. We actually do even offer free Google Ad account reviews. So if someone's had an account and they're like, man, I just can't figure this thing out, or they've just been running for a while, we're more than happy to do a free review and then send you a report of where there's opportunity. And if you have just even like quick questions and you're like, hey, I just want this type of this answer, or I have a question on something that is related to Google Ads, you can find us on social media just at Signa Marketing as our user handle. Mm-hmm. And we're more than happy to answer any questions in public form, because if most likely someone else has the same question. Right. So we like to answer a lot of questions in public form too.
Right. And you've also got a podcast that you do through Signa Marketing. It's called Blueprint. So tell the audience about that one as well.
Yeah, so Blueprint is something we started to be as a free resource to small business owners, marketing managers, and even just anyone that's getting into the industry. And so it's a fun show. It's a Q&A style show in which I basically answer any and all digital marketing questions that people have. So people can submit them as a comment or even a direct message, and then I just answer them candidly on the next episode.
Okay, awesome. Well, y'all check Bobby out at Signa Marketing as well as on the Blueprint, and we will talk him into coming back and we'll talk about some more marketing stuff. So until next time, you can find us www.thebusinessofbusinesspodcast.com. Of course, we're on all the major social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and these episodes will go on YouTube when the episodes go live as well. So until next time, y'all take care of yourself and take care of your business.